So you might not remember what a glucose molecule looks like, but there it is. Okay, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons. It's got a bunch of oxygens on it. That is what a glucose molecule looks like. The process of glycolysis takes this and breaks it into these two pyruvate molecules. And you can kind of see where maybe the carbons for this came from. You've got all these carbons here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons here, and you're breaking it down into 2, 3 carbon chains. All right. So glycolysis begins, or it starts with a single molecule of glucose. The products of glycolysis are NADH, which remember are those electron carriers. Those are going to take those electrons to the electron transport chain, and you're going to get 2 molecules of ATP out immediately. So those are ready to be used right away. And like I said, a lot or some organisms stop there. They stop after glycolysis. They got their ATP out, and that's all they can do because they lack maybe some chemical component required to continue it, or they lack sort of the physiology. So glycolysis gives you 2 molecules of pyruvic acid. Okay, glucose breaks down into those pyruvic acid molecules. Those molecules move on to the Krebs cycle. I'm about to show you a picture. I don't want you to be too afraid of it, but it is pretty complicated. So just be aware. Here it comes. So here is your glucose molecule. This is more of a like biochemistry level understanding of glycolysis, and there are even many more details than this that you can learn. Basically, what I want you to know is that glucose comes in, you get a couple of ATP out, it's undergoing all of these biochemical steps, and ultimately what you're going to wind up with at the end is 2 ATP molecules and pyruvic acid. Okay, so these details, this is good stuff to know when you take biochemistry and stuff like that. Mostly what I'm worried about is I want you to know that there's the starting glucose, a bunch of cool, really interesting steps, and then at the end you get pyruvic acid, ATP, and you get those electron carriers loaded up with electrons, ready to take those electrons somewhere else if you remember from before, they're little taxi cabs. All right, so these pyruvate molecules are going to get fed directly into the Krebs cycle here, which we're going to talk about later. Those electron carriers are going to get fed down into the electron transport chain, and these ATP molecules, those are ready to be used for cellular work immediately. So the next thing we're going to talk about in the next lecture is the next step, or the Krebs cycle.